When a man like my father says he is going to do something, it doesn't just mean he will try. It means he is willing to die trying, but he works so hard that he's probably gonna get what he's going for anyway. There is no other way. When you want it as bad as you want to breathe, when you got to breathe, when you got to get this straight. See, being a man like my father means you are the first of many. Where it gets lonely, where the climb is your company, where your life is based around competition and currency, and the role models that raised you struggle with stability or fly south in the face of an emergency with urgency, means you are your own role model. Means you're making a lot of mistakes. Your 10 minutes of insanity is kind of like a family heirloom that you keep trying to break out of tradition. The kind of wisdom you learned by failing the mission. See, in 1963, my father had a dream to make $100,000. And that wasn't just crazy, it was crazy for a black boy coming from no running water, no heat. What an insurmountable feat. What a miracle-like blessing to be given the kind of ability that propels you several generations forward in just a decade's time. See, our halftime entertainment became his prayer to God. And he went from running for his life to running toward a crowd of men ready to take it. Some things stay consistent, like how seeking the open path to get through to the other side was just like walking in the middle of the road so you can escape from either side, like jumping from the rooftop so you can learn to fly when jumping over a crowd of guys, and you ain't even tripping because you don't practice that tuck and roll and slide to the side. See, when you're a man like my father, you know how to land in life. And no matter how hard he went down, grace is what he found. I mean, look at him now, 50 years later and still a champion. Oh, it's giving longevity for me, even after thoughts of its ending for me. See, he was a kind of man to take an ending and just shake out a new beginning. And even when the enemy sat on the edge of their seats anticipating the next move was never something they could predict. I mean, really, who in their right mind could have thought of all this? Aside from the men and women who were used to seeing a shine, who understood the mission with good intention when they saw greatness in his eyes, in his stride, when he had nothing more than raw talent and big dreams. The kind of people who make heroes to men like my father are people like Gail Sayers, who go from playing at Coombs Park to being the first black player inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame, or Ron Boone in the NBA, or Buzzy Bryant, the first lettered black man at UNL to play, or Bob Boozer, the first black basketball player in the 1960 Olympics, or Marlon Briscoe, the first black starting quarterback in the AFL to get it, not to mention Leslie Webster, Bill Wise, Fred Hare. And when you got other people going against the current, it's crazy to think you can't get there. So God bless the man that leaves a man. Because it takes people like George Barber, a gym teacher, to recognize your raw talent, and Don Betting to be your first coach, and Josh Gibson to show you how far you can go. There's Tommy Davis and Coach Stoneacre and Coach Christie to keep you in line when they see that you're tripping, and John Crookham to give you the flexibility to be everything you need to be, and Charlie Washington to introduce you to the continuation of a legacy with Bob DeVere. See, it would always take a village to pull greatness out of the mud. This is Omaha. This is us. See, when a man like my father says he is going to do something, it doesn't just mean he will try. It means it is done.